Well, the whole election cycle, you saw Donald Trump going on podcasts popular with men, attending college football games and campaigning with influencers, giving him an edge with those young male voters. Well, according to our Fox News voter analysis, Trump won with men ages 18 to 44 after they broke for Biden in 2020. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk joins us now. Charlie, thanks for being here. But it's one thing for a candidate to appeal to young men. It's another thing to make sure those young men vote. And I think one of the underlying stories of this election are the efforts of Turning Point USA. Share with us why you think young men turned out for Donald Trump.
Well, first, credit to President Trump for actually going to a constituency that should be voting more Republican, but wasn't in previous cycles. President Trump was unafraid to do long-form podcasting. The new standard in American politics is if you cannot sit down for 3 hours uninterrupted with no notes, people are not going to vote for you under the age of 40. That is the new standard. Gone are the days of just the scripted, meet the press type dialogues for 10 minutes. Voters want to see authenticity and depth and understanding of the issues. But also, I did 25 campus stops this last semester, and I saw something happening both with men and women. It's important to note that young women voted 11 points more for Donald Trump versus 2020, according to an NBC exit poll analysis. That is also a pretty amazing story, considering we were told that Kamala Harris was going to have record margins with young women and young voters. So it's really remarkable, Pete. What we've seen is the younger generation has voted the most Republican and conservative since 2004. Young men are the most conservative they've been in nearly 50 years. And President Trump deserves enormous credit for having the wherewithal and the courage to go into communities that otherwise would not traditionally support Republicans.
No doubt. Charlie, we're showing images and videos right now of you out on the trail with Turning Point at colleges and universities. But a lot of us have feared for a long time, hey, because of our education system, because of our colleges and universities, we're going to lose generations of young men and women to leftism. Why are they rejecting that and turning toward Trump?
Well, there's many reasons. We cannot underestimate how this generation was damaged during COVID. They had prom, graduation, so many friends taken from them. Their whole life was uprooted for a disproportionate response towards a younger generation. They saw on top of that all the excesses of the woke agenda during the summer of 2020. And now they're looking to rebel against that. And they say, wait a second, we weren't told the truth. We were not told the truth about social distancing or the closing of schools, not told the truth about how the virus was going to impact us in the younger generation, and they were starting to fight back. And President Trump also offered a promise to them. You see, the younger generation, they're the first generation since George Washington to have it worse off than their parents. They're the most depressed, suicidal, anxious, least likely to own homes, least likely to get married, least likely to have kids, and they want a future. And President Trump said, you know what? Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the Democrats broke it. I will fix it because the country was stable just 4 years ago. Enough younger voters were able to hear that message thanks to the work of him going on podcasting, what we did on campuses, social media. I believe it was one of the decisive elements that now made President Trump the soon-to-be 47th president of the United States.
For sure. Charlie, you've been doing spade work on college campuses now for over a decade. You've been working on young people, trying to remind them where their rights and freedoms really coming from. This vote for Trump, is this a Trump vote, or is this a young people becoming conservative? Is this something that translates to future candidates, or is it just Donald Trump's unique?
Oh, it absolutely translates to future candidates. And that's what's so amazing is that President Trump is the culmination of a philosophical and worldview shift, a realignment, if you will, where young people increasingly do not want the sad and depressing and heavy worldview that we see on the left. Instead, they want the country that their parents were always talking about. And another important element is Gen Z is largely the kids of Gen X. And Gen X was the most Republican generation that we saw. So Gen X and Gen Z are kind of married to each other, where millennials and boomers are married to each other in some ways. Not married, but they're coupled with each other. And so you're seeing as Gen X and Gen Z become more conservative, that is going to mean a profoundly more Republican country and a mandate for us to be able to advance freedom and liberty. Bad news for the Democrats this week. It's
really important. As the history of 2024 election is written, you and Turning Point will have a big chapter in it. Charlie, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.